¡Órale! Sí, señor. Bienvenidos and welcome to the Familia FFP podcast. Primos in the house, Primo Ricky and Primo Georgie. ¿Cómo estamos, baby?
How you doing, baby?
I'm good. I love the robe, baby. I love it's kind of Hugh Hefner-ish.
It's new, so I just wanted to wear it, and I just can't take it off.
Well, plus you've been working a lot of late nights lately, so I know you're just getting up. But awesome that we're able to do this one, baby. And we're doing this. Oh, first off, just take a little bit of business. Everybody out there watching us on YouTube, please give us a like and subscribe. It's gonna help us out, get us close to making a little money off of this. Ojalá, por favor, un favorcito. Also, make sure you're following us on Twitter and Instagram. Ricky, where they got you at Ricky Torres TV.
Ricky Torres TV.
Yeah, and you got me at Jorge Martin 17. And also, don't forget, familiaffb.com and our Facebook page. We are live on Facebook. Este momentito. So, Primo, it's Bye-Mageddon. People were calling it Bipocalypse, but I didn't love that one. And then a couple days ago, I think when I did the pickups article, I called it Bye-Mageddon. And then all of a sudden, next thing I know, there's a hashtag attached to it. So...
And it looks like you have the Chargers, the Bills, the Cowboys, the Vikings, the Jags, and the Steelers. That's a lot of really good running backs right there. So I know in one of my leagues, I have 4 running backs. So I lost Robinson and Eckler, but then I also had Kareem Hunt. So now that's gone. So it's definitely a Bye-Mageddon for me.
Man, it's just... Está loco. I mean, I've seen this is going to be the worst week. And plus you add to it, you've got, Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt. I mean, all these guys that are just, yeah, I mean, duele.
The only thing I can say about that is everyone's going to be in the same boat this week too, then in your league, because everybody's going to be missing maybe at least one player. So that waiver wire is going to be huge on who you pick up, whether it be A.J. Dillon, since he's still getting yards, even with Jones getting yards. You just really got to be creative on who you're going to put in that spot.
And it really is. And of course, creative, maybe a little bit desperate, a poquito desesperado. I tell you, I mean, I got one league where I literally have to start Demetric Felton in my running back slot. And it just me duele.
I mean, my worst player that I got to start is Allen Robinson. So yeah, it's gonna be a rough week.
Oh, but that he's got that sweet matchup against the Bucks. Yeah, you're not. Are you hoping?
I'm not starting him to be like if I don't have to, I'm not gonna. I mean, why? He's shown nothing so far, nothing.
And it's hard to feel any kind of. I mean, I don't even know. I mean, it's hard to feel any kind of that he's going to be okay, that he's going to be good. I don't see it. I just don't see it. I mean, it's almost like one of those things. Like a couple weeks ago when Kyle Pitts was was playing in London, and he was there was no Calvin Ridley that day. I put a line in the sand. I said he either hits on this week, or it's just I'm giving up on him, and I have him on a couple teams. And
would you have dropped him?
No, I wouldn't have dropped him. He'd still be better than half the guys that are out there. But I wouldn't be. I'd be kind of like I'd be slapping my own head for being like, okay, well he's going to be great. He's going to get 1,000 yards and 80 catches or something like that. Something that I'd predicted before the season. It's just not. I mean, had a great game. So I'm hoping for those people who have Allen Robinson that they get a reward. But I mean, it's one of those things, you play long enough, you throw things at the wall long enough, something's going to stick. And it's just like, well, if it sticks in week 7, okay, you just say thank you. And then you go for what you get next, what you're going to get next week.
And we're pretty much in the halfway mark of the season. So it's going by fast.
Yeah. After this one, playoffs start in week 15. So everybody goes through week 14, and that's going to be the last of the bye weeks. I think the Panthers are on. Panthers are one of the teams on the bye.
I saw how deep it went. I'm like, some people are going to have trouble getting into the playoffs at the end of the season.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. If you need a win, and then you waited the whole season for your stud, for someone like, Christian McCaffrey to come back, and then all of a sudden you got to sit him, and you got to, you're like 7-6, and you need a win to get into the playoffs. This
happened way too many times to me.
Those
are the teams who want to make the playoffs that win the championship. So.
Yeah, that's when you go on a run. You're good at that one. So I was talking about the fact that I was telling someone in our Familia League about peaking too early, and I was like, you don't want to peak so early that you end up losing in the semifinals, like I do every time I'm in the semifinals. So.
Happens all the time.
Too often. Hey, what's been your? Do you know off the top of your head? Do you know your worst loss this season?
Like getting my ass kicked or closest?
Closest.
0.4 and 0.45 in the same freaking week. I lost by 0.8 in 2 leagues. Ooh. In the family league, I lost by 0.4, and then in my dynasty league, I lost by 4 points, and then in my other big money league, 0.45. It was stupid this past week. Stupid.
Oh. Eso duele. My worst was I had it was the game that what was it? I think the who was it? It was playing on Monday Night Football. Oh, it was the Chargers, and no, not the Chargers. The Chargers Raiders. Was that a Monday Night Football? Yeah, the Chargers Raider game. That was a Monday Night Football game, and I was trailing by like 60 points. But I had Herbert, I had Waller, I had Allen. And I think I had Ruggs too. And between the 4 of them, I came up 0.16 short. I thought it was going to happen, and just 0.16 short. So that was.
Yeah, the scoring started leaving that game at the end. So it's like you were at a high, and it just never finished up.
Well, there was a point where at the end of the game, Darren Waller dropped, or no, I think I forget. Darren Waller either dropped the pass or Derek Carr overthrew him on when he was wide open. I was just like, oh, that was the point. That was the point that I needed. So, So, oh well, I see. So that's a charity league. So that one's not feeling so bad on that one.
I lost my dynasty league to the guy who traded all of his good players for first-round picks next year. So I'm hurting by that. I'm that guy's first win, and that's not a good feeling.
I will say I had one tough. I will say, getting back to Bye-Mageddon, I had one tough cut where I literally, like, my entire bench is either on bye or hurt or on either out or on IR, and it's our Familia League, so we don't have we're only doing IR for COVID, and then my guys are like on real IR, and not little guy. It's like David Montgomery and Clyde Edwards-Helaire, El Aire. So I literally had to drop Kadarius Toney so that I could field a full lineup. So that one just
you have to. Toney did great one game, but you can't bank on him.
And he's going to be out 1 to 2 weeks, and who knows how long it's going to be back for him to be revamped. Jesus te ayude, primo. Salud.
And it's like by then is Golladay, Shepard, who's going to be back? I don't know. That team's getting injured left and right.
No, I just don't get it. Forget about those guys. Ay, Dios mío, de eso duele. Well, speaking of guys that that are kind of injured, how are we feeling about the Dodgers, baby? We're recording this hours before Game 5. The Dodgers are trailing 3-1. I was at the Tuesday night game, Game 3, the exhilarating victory, and then yesterday was the agony of defeat.
Go back. Go to another game. Those were hella seats, though, Georgie.
Oh yeah, my buen amigo and my compadre. He his company, his firm hooked us up. So they were just, and it was like, it was so loud in Dodger Stadium, but it was just like, it was kind of like that murmur because we were so close to the field. I've heard the players talk about that, where it's so loud that you really can't hear it. You don't hear anything. And that's kind of how it was. It's spectacular. And I don't know how you feeling about tonight. Bullpen game against Max Fried, Valley Boy, by the way.
I'll tell you what, I'm gonna be pissed off if they go down by 5-2 again this game, and it's gonna be hard to keep the TV on. But I'll have good food at least.
Yeah, and this one, it's like, what do you get? What are you making? What are you having?
There's right by my house. There's a little lot that like 8 to 10 different food trucks open up, so I get my pick of the litter.
Ooh, get some tacos for me, please.
Oh, they got all different types of tacos: fish tacos, deep fried tacos. It's awesome.
Any favorites from that place?
Oh, just the fish taco deep fried is amazing. And then there's a really good Italian place with eggplant. It's all good. It's all good.
Just put in like orders at like 3 of the trucks and then just take it home. And
you know me so well.
Muy bien, baby. Muy bien. But are you feeling, and we got that plus Thursday Night Football, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But you feeling confident? You feeling?
We're gonna win. We have to win. We're gonna win.
And I'm wearing my Los Doyers t-shirt. So, woohoo! So I'm hoping.
I wish I was. I'm not.
Hey, we got to keep the G rating on this one.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm hoping. I'm hoping. Va ser duro. It's gonna be an uphill climb, but hey, you know what? Let's watch it. Let's hope for the best. Hope for recoveries for all the Dodgers who are hurt.
Right.
Eso duele. The ay, as we love to call it.
Now, real quick, when you say injuries, I want to go back to football real quick. Do you think this 3-week IR is really making teams throw their players in IR really easily compared to last year?
I think it's making it more possible.
Like making it
I think more guys are doing it with that 3-week IR. I really do. And I think it's good. I hate that, like, you have to miss half the season or you have to miss the whole season. And, it's something where maybe you're going to miss 4 weeks and you got to carry that spot. And yeah, I like this one better. It's kind of like the shorter IL in baseball. Yeah,
it's like everyone's getting injured. So we'll see what happens this year. It's been fun so far.
And it's all calf injuries. It's so many calf injuries. So you're gonna have to switch over to being an injury expert too instead of a nurse.
Pretty much, but it'll be fun.
You'll be just as busy though. So hey, let's get into some cheese, my baby.
So
Deshawn Watson rumors seem to be heating up. So I just saw on Twitter that from someone who down the stream said this was a reliable source that Deshaun Watson is going to be traded by next Tuesday. Now the trade deadline is November 2nd, and that apparently right now Miami and Philadelphia are the 2 leaders of the pack. Carolina was supposedly in there, but Carolina has come out and said they're out. They're not there. That Sam Darnold is their guy. I'm kind of like, I'll believe it when I see it. Ricky, Primo, what do you think?
Out of all 3 of those teams, Sam Darnold's the one that I wouldn't want. I'd rather have Jalen Hurts than Sam Darnold.
So you think either one is going to be going the other way if it happens?
They have to. I mean, you have to, because no one. You don't want both those players, Watson and that young QB, on the same team. And B, that young QB is not going to want to be there. And C, the Texans are going to want something in return. Then I don't know. Now that I say that, we did see what happened with Hopkins. So who knows? Maybe the Texans are finally getting smart again and know that they need to receive stuff in a trade, not just give up stuff.
Well, it's a new regime now. There's a reason why that trade happened a couple of years ago, a year and a little more than a year ago. But it's a different regime. I think what they're doing, they're really saying, you need to pay up. But the thing that I keep wondering, I mean, his legal issues aren't resolved, and they're not going to be resolved until after the season.
They're not going anywhere. We're not hearing more stuff about it. So it's like, if it was bad, we'd hear about it.
Yeah, I still kind of think that at some point he's going to get suspended by the league, or is the league going to look at, these inactives that he's doing, are they kind of acting as a suspension or something like that?
I doubt it. It's just, I think it's them trying to save face, because the second a verdict comes out, they can't say anything. But if nothing comes out of it and he settles, what can the NFL do? Because they're going to be like, this is such an old story, technically, because it happened over a year ago by the time the settlement comes out. So it's one of those, do you take that risk and trade a Jalen Hurts for Watson if you're the Eagles? Like that, because that's still a risk.
And you're still, but you're also, you're not just trading Jalen Hurts, you're trading multiple number 1 picks. And both Miami and Philadelphia have some draft capital to trade, but
you really have to give up on this season if that's the case.
Yeah.
And I mean, for Miami, okay, because you got the Bills, but for the Eagles, it's like there's always a chance to win that division. What weren't they like last year? A team that was 7-9 won.
Yeah, it was Washington.
So
and the Giants could have won at 6-10.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know how this trade's going to work out. It's ugly, because who wants Watson? Who wants to take that risk? They must know that there's going to be nothing that comes from this lawsuit. So that's what's really going to stop a team is, oh, the lawsuit's going to continue. We're not even going to have him, and that's going to ruin the trade. That's going to ruin the capital of Watson. So they know something we don't.
I think, I mean, ultimately, I mean, I hope it gets settled. The thing that I look at this and just kind of, you know, it's such a tough thing. And, you know, Stephanie Stradley from the Houston Chronicle, who, you know, joined me for our Insider series, she gave the great summation, and her being a lawyer was fantastic. I mean, it came down to the fact that, you know, everybody just stay cool and just be patient, and it'll get resolved. I you know, hope it gets resolved quickly, and we'll see. We'll see if he still avoids any kind of a
the thing is, if no new evidence came up and they have all they got, the lawyers know what's going to happen.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, well, let's jump into the next one. Dallas Goedert cleared of the COVID reserve list. Now, if he plays this week, he didn't practice today, but apparently he was doing workouts. You know, he's got the Raiders, who are the number 31 defense against tight ends. I mean, there's no Zach Ertz there. If I got him, I'm firing up, like, just not even thinking about it.
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially with Ertz gone. I mean, I have him in our Familia 2 league. So it's like, I need this. I really need this. and Hurts isn't that bad. Maybe that's why Hurts didn't do so well the past week or two. And that team doesn't really have that many strong receivers outside of Devontae Smith. So I'd say, yeah, I would throw everything at Goedert.
Yeah. How about Jimmy Garoppolo? So he's practicing. Trey Lance not practicing. He's got a knee injury. So Jimmy G, you know, that dreaded calf injury. That's the injury of 2021. Apparently, looks like he's getting ready to return playing the Colts. That's Sunday Night Football game. It's you know, with so many quarterbacks,
if you don't have to. If you're in a 2-quarterback league, you're screwed. But don't play Jimmy if you don't have to.
The super flex leagues. You're not thinking he might have a big game similar to Lamar Jackson on Monday Night Football against the Colts?
Don't ever compare Jimmy G to Lamar Jackson. There's no way. There's no way. Jackson just has different skill sets. Jimmy G, to me, is just, he's a pretty boy who just happened to get a good contract.
Ay, Dios mío. Well,
I like him better than Baker, though.
Well, at least he's got 2 healthy shoulders. Baker just already ruled out. Well, we're going to get into that game in a minute, but let's get into the last one. There are reports coming out that the Chiefs, Panthers, 49ers, and Saints are all talking to the Colts about Marlon Mack. And Marlon Mack coming off of an Achilles injury, but Jonathan Taylor has really taken control of that backfield. This is something to keep an eye on. Marlon Mack, surprisingly, I mean, that's been the dreaded injury to running backs more than the torn ACL, where guys don't come back. But he's, it could be a guy that to keep an eye on if he lands in the right situation.
And it'll be a good how do you say it? It'll be a good marker to see if Cam Akers can come back from an injury like that.
Exactly.
So if we see Marlon Mack all of a sudden be popping again, still have explosiveness, it's like, okay, Cam Akers is going to be fine next year. But it's a horrible injury. I mean, if it depends where the tendon goes, how far they got to pull it, where it ripped. It's just, but if he's back and he's on any of those teams, I don't like any of them. Why would you want him on the Saints? Why would you want him on the Niners? Why would you want him on the Panthers and the Chiefs? Maybe the Chiefs, he can do something with them, but that team just hasn't been the same right now, and no running back on that team has been fantasy relevant. So I feel like it's really he's a dynasty hold, but he's not a redraft hold.
Yeah, I mean, I look at him, and even he's a slight hold on the dynasty side, even though he's only 25. But the one, if of those four teams, the one I'd want to see him go to is the Saints, just because they've been able to. They need to give Alvin Kamara a little. They need to not be running him 24 times a game. So they need to actually just kind of lighten the load on him a little bit from the running side and get him more involved on the receiving side. So that's the only one. I mean, everywhere else he's going to be a part of a committee, and so I mean, at least this is more of a featured committee.
Yeah, when that works, because Latavius Murray was awesome, even with Kamara working with him.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to get into, let's get into a couple games, and then we'll get into a little Adentro y Afuera. So Thursday Night Football, we got Denver and at Cleveland. Both teams are 3-3. We got Cleveland somehow is a 2-point favorite, and the over-under is 41 right now. There is an 80% chance of rain in this game, which, is that one, all that much rain? Does that kind of worry you, Primo?
No, I think the rain's great because I picked up Cleveland's defense, so I'm looking for a lot of fumbles and looking for a lot of running. And if it's running, that means it's going to be a slow game as far as scoring, but a fast game as far as the clock's going to keep running. So it might be a really boring game tonight. Usually Thursday nights are. And yeah, I mean, I want the rain. I haven't had an exciting game to watch in the rain yet. It's outdoors, right?
Yeah, oh yeah. Cleveland's outdoors. I think what was it that the game where we had some rain was the Sunday night game with the Bucks at New England. That one had some rain, and that one kind of definitely slowed both offenses down a little bit. I mean, to me, the thing that worries me is you got Case Keenum subbing in for Baker Mayfield, but I mean, it's a mash unit in Cleveland. You got Mayfield, you got Chubb, you got Hunt, possibly Odell Beckham Jr. All the first guys are out. OBJ is looking like he may be out. I mean, that one's. I mean, even for a team that was so deep, I mean, that's some major hits to that lineup.
I don't even know what to think about the Browns. I'm like, with Keenum, who knows? Maybe he becomes a gunslinger tonight, and it's just like a ugly, scrappy game. But I doubt it. I'm hoping just for a low-scoring game, a boring game, because I'm going to want to be watching the Dodgers.
I know, just kind of, not missing too much. The one thing is Jarvis Landry is healthy and active in this one. So, and the interesting thing about Case Keenum starting, he was he knows the offense because Kevin Stefanski was the offensive coordinator when Keenum was with Minnesota. So something to look at there. I talked about this on Los Pickups earlier in this week. Ernest Johnson is a guy that's going to be getting a lot of the Nick Chubb role, and Demetric Felton out of UCLA, go Bruins. He's going to get some playing time, possibly, kind of like in a James White type of role. We're getting some, where he was a receiver. But I mean, he still doesn't have any carries this season. He's only gotten a few targets. But I mean, hard to really like this offense. I mean, with Landry coming off of an injury, I mean, what about Donovan Peoples-Jones? Is that a guy that you might you might want to start.
It's a totally different quarterback, but even then, it's look at how good Denver's defense has been this year. I'm right now on my phone trying to see if I can pick them up in any league because this is a golden matchup for them right now. I don't think they're free anywhere.
Probably not. Probably not. They're taken up. The one bit of good news that Cleveland got, left tackle Jedrick Wills is back and he's expected to play. Their right tackle Jack Conklin is expected to be out. So part of that vaunted offensive line that was number 1 by Pro Football Focus coming into the season, getting a little bit more healthy, but man, I mean, it's hard to feel optimistic about this game. I mean, Denver's had some injuries on their defensive side. I mean, they got torn up by the Raiders last week, and the week before, Najee Harris had a big game against them. You got, but offensively, you got Teddy Bridgewater. He had 3 interceptions last week against the Raiders. With the rain, are you even thinking about him in daily fantasy?
Hell no. He's got to run it, and he had a lot of garbage time. But if it rains, I just wouldn't want to book on it. I feel like they're going to run it up the middle, and just do that all day. So if anything, get on Melvin Gordon, get on Javonte Williams, and for Cleveland, I don't even know half those names, so I don't know who to pick on that team.
I don't, it's like it's one of those things. I mean, maybe Johnson, thinking he might get, more of the featured role out of the backfield, but really, yeah, I mean, it's, in dealing fantasy, I'm loading up on Melvin Gordon, RB18, Javonte Williams, RB35, but they've been kind of running pretty close. Kind of like a 55-45 with the advantage on Gordon's side. One thing to keep in mind, Familia, there's no Jerry Jeudy. He is not being activated for this game. He was eligible to be activated off the IR. It's not going to happen. But even with the passing game, I mean, it's such a good looking matchup for Cortland Sutton. He's got a 28% target share. His last game, he's got 18.2 average depth to target and 48% of the air yards of the entire team. This is the guy that they're throwing to, but I don't like it in the rain. I know they say that wind is more hurtful to the passing game than the rain, but I don't like any. Maybe it's just the Californian in me. What about Noah Fant? Yeah, he's a tight end 7. You've had a love-hate relationship with him over the past year.
He's garbage. I mean, he does a lot. He's not targeted enough. 24% targeting on a team that already doesn't have that many strong options. It's just sad. He should be their number 1 target every time. And it's just disappointing. And it's like, Teddy, you're better than that. Today, however, if they can get him the ball, because it's going to be short, quick passes, I like him better than Patrick and Sutton and whoever else they have to throw to. Even the running backs. I feel like if it rains, today's the day Fant needs to step it up. Otherwise, I'm going to give up on him.
Even at the tight end 7, of course, you give up on him. Then I don't. Tight end is so bad this year. Even Darren Waller and Darren Waller hasn't been as great as we thought he would be. And
Kittle's been injured.
Yeah, Kittle's been injured. I mean, Mark Andrews has been good. TJ Hawkinson has not been all that great. He's been battling a knee injury, and obviously we talked about Kyle Pitts. So it's really been Travis Kelce or Mark Andrews or nothing. I mean, Gronk was great, got off to that great start, and then he got hurt. So tight end, baby, tight end, just get them all.
He's starting to trend up, so I would tell everybody hop on that train.
Oh man. Well, let's talk about one shootout that we think is going to be happening this weekend. Kansas City 3-3 at Tennessee 4-2. The Titans coming off that incredible game on Monday Night Football against the Bills, where they just kind of held on and Josh Allen slipped and came out. The Chiefs are 5.5-point favorites, road favorites, and it's 57.5 over under. The weather's not going to be an option. It's not going to be an issue. It's going to be 81 degrees, partly cloudy. I mean, you got Kansas City coming off of a game where they got embarrassed, Buffalo, and then they bounced back last week, beat up on the Washington football team. how you feeling about this game? I mean, both defenses have been basura this season.
It's
And
I'd hate to be what do you call it? Typical or whatever, but this is a playoff matchup right here. These teams will most likely, if Kansas City makes it, going to meet in the playoffs. So it's going to be a good one to watch. Kansas City needs this win more than Tennessee, and they'll probably get it. But both defenses are horrible. This is the best situation for Tannehill because KC sucks against the quarterbacks, and they're horrible against running backs too. But we'll see what happens with Derrick Henry because I understand he's got a little back issue right now. But I feel like it will be a shootout
because he's been carrying the Tennessee offense on his back.
Exactly, and that's why I think it's going to be close because Tannehill can keep it close. But the second Kansas City has a 2-touchdown lead, Tannehill's not going to catch up. That's just how he is.
He's got to. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I know you really railed on him last year because he would have these blow up games against the bad teams, and then against the good teams, he'd kind of like he was just okay or not good. So that one, something that one, I think this is a game where he really needs to show up, and because I think you're expecting Derrick Henry to show up. You got Kansas City. They're number 26 against running backs, and and I was a menso last week, and I put Derrick Henry on my. I faded him. I said, now Familia, before you start throwing things at me, I'm not saying to sit him. I said don't expect a big game out of him, and he goes and gets 143 yards and that 76-yard touchdown. So
I always go against what you say, just like when Charles Barkley says, "I guarantee it." Go against it.
Oh man! So what do you think? You think Tennessee covers this one at plus 5.5?
No, I think it's going to be a touchdown win for Kansas City, and that's only going to be because the last 2-3 minutes, Tennessee scores a touchdown, doesn't get the onside kick, and that's how it is. I don't think it's going to be that close.
Now, do you have Daryl Williams anywhere?
In one league, and I think it's your league. But
or Familia 2.0?
Yeah, I don't like the idea of him. I'd rather have McKinnon because I feel like McKinnon's got that pop, but it's a horrible situation.
Well, he got all the work. He got 24 touches last week, 89 yards and 2 touchdowns, 89 total yards.
In the game, but I just don't like him. I don't like having him on my team for the whole season.
Yeah, that one's. I mean, I think he's going to be on there, and then
the better he does, the more they're going to ease CEH back in. And that's not good.
And they might make that a committee, which is no bueno. We know how much we love committees. I will say, because of what's happened on several of my teams, where I have Nick Chubb a lot, I have Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I have David Montgomery a lot, and I'm just. Next year, I know when we had the draft strategy one, you mocked our 0 RB. I'm going to try 0 RB on some teams next year, maybe even on all of them, because like I look at my 14 team league where I could have gone Tyreek Hill and what was it, like I could have gone like Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce right off the bat. I'd have been like, I'd be doing better than Nick Chubb and Antonio Gibson.
Yeah, by far.
Ay, Dios mío.
But it all depends who you got as your tight end and your wide receiver one, and how much worse are they compared to Kelce and that, and where would your running backs be? And it's all a math game.
Yeah. It really is. And on the Tennessee side, I mean, you're starting Derrick Henry. We're going to talk about him. A.J. Brown, we're going to talk about him in a minute. But he is the wide receiver 65, if you can believe it. But obviously battling injuries. Julio Jones came back to a limited practice today, which is interesting because it was, just a lot of the talk was that he might not be available this week. Hamstring kind of came back. If he's playing, are you starting him?
No.
Really? Even in this matchup?
No, I'll probably play him. I don't want to play him, but you already invested so much into him. But it's all about who I have behind him, dude. You know, because a lot of people got Waddle for cheap, and I'd rather play Waddle because Waddle gets targets up, you know, way up there. So Julio Jones is fighting a lot of people, and the reason I play Julio Jones in this is because I think they'll get garbage time, and I think AJ Brown will get all the coverage. But it's a risk. It's a risky play just because you never know if he's gonna pull out during halftime or be out. What time's the game? Is it a morning game, afternoon, Sunday night?
Morning.
Okay.
So morning for us on the West Coast.
Then, I mean, it's hard. I'd have to see who I have besides him. I'm going to want to not play him, but if I don't have any good options, it's not a bad problem to have. But like I've been saying this whole time, wide receivers are so deep this year.
Primo, we got a question in our chat. So pick 2 to start at flex. Ty, Alex Collins, Tim Patrick, Khalil Herbert, AJ Green.
Well, Cleo Herbert, definitely. He's just been on fire.
He had a big game. It is against Tampa Bay, though.
I don't care. You got to go with him anyways because they're going to be throwing dump-offs to him, and he's their best offensive weapon right now. And you look at the other crappy people that this guy has. God, I love going with running back. I don't ever like putting a wide receiver in my flex because they're hit or miss. They're boom or bust. If you get someone like Alex Collins, you know you're going to get 5 to 10 points at least because he's going to be on the ground. 16 if he gets a touchdown. So I just like running backs gets guaranteed points, and if it's in your flex position, it's guaranteed points. Because I've had it where you put a wide receiver in, they get 1 catch off 5 targets, 10 yards, and it's like, why did I do that? So with Tim Patrick, I don't want that because of the rain game. And with AJ Green, why would you even put that in the universe? So definitely,
it's Houston.
Ty was great last week.
Wait a second. He it's against Houston, Primo. Isn't that even a little
go out to the lead and run it?
I could see that, but you know, he did get 6 targets last week for 70 and caught 5 of them for 79 yards.
So 79 yards. Then you got to think 79 yards.
It's not crazy.
And as a running back, that means the running back just has to catch 1 ball for 29 yards and 40 yards on the floor to match that. And that's way more likely than relying on AJ Green getting that much attention again.
So who are your 2?
Alex Collins and Khalil Herbert.
Okay, so I think we're both ruling out Tim Patrick. Khalil Herbert, I'm a little worried about that Tampa Bay defensive front. That they've just, I mean, they're number 1 in holding everybody down. In fact, I've got him on my Afuera column, a little bit down. Alex Collins, you got to make sure he's starting. That's the one thing. He's a little dinged up. I go AJ Green. I go AJ Green and Collins, just because I think Green.
Why not Cleo? You think Khalil's? I think Khalil's going to get. Volume.
Khalil's gonna get a lot. He's gonna get a lot of touches. I think he's not gonna be able to have any running room. Their offensive line is banged up, and they're going up against the best defensive front in the NFL in Tampa Bay. I mean, Tampa Bay is giving up. I've got kind of a little preview of what we're going to talk about. Tampa Bay is giving up 42.3 running yards on the ground to running backs. So he's not going to have a lot of room to run. He had a great game last week, but I worry he's not going to have a lot of room.
Giving to the passes to the running backs. That's another thing too. You got to put in there because Khalil has a monopoly on that right now. And Justin Fields isn't that he's not a gunslinger. He's still going to need to throw to the side. They're going to try to open it up for him that way. So I just think Khalil Herbert, out of all these players, I think Khalil Herbert gets the most points.
Okay, so I'm gonna agree with you, Herbert, but I'm gonna put Green instead of Collins, just because I think Collins is a little banged up, and I think he might not get a full workload.
What do you think of Ty though?
Oh no, he put into the chat that he was actually saying thank you, not Ty. So I do like Ty this week. If he's healthy, he's got a little bit of a quad issue happening with him. But if he's healthy, it's a hell of a matchup. Oh my goodness. The San Francisco defensive backfield is really, 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 injured, and they're going to be very, very forgiving this week. All right, so we're going to go real quick. We got about 20 minutes left, and we're going to do some Adentro Afuera. So I may cut some of these guys, so kind of follow with me on this one, or might go over some because we already kind of talked about them. But to me, the main quarterback, one of the main quarterbacks that I think is going to really surpass what he does, what he's projected for, is Aaron Rodgers. He is home there. The Packers are home against the Washington football team. And since week 1, he's got 12 touchdowns and 1 interception. So he's at the QB 12 of that there on the season. WFT, they're just so bad on offense, Primo. I mean, I mean, in any week you're starting him, but I think you're definitely looking at him, kind of possibly. Are you looking at him as possibly having a blow up week? Maybe looking at him in the DFS lineup?
I mean, he's just been so amazing lately. It's just hard to think Washington's this bad this year. Like, why aren't they getting in on the quarterback anymore? Why aren't they half as good as they used to be? So, I don't know. I think there's better options out there, but because of the bye weeks, I don't know. I'd still rather have Tannehill because maybe he can throw garbage time. I'd want a garbage time quarterback. I wouldn't want Aaron Rodgers for this game.
Yeah. Bo Pucks, Familia. Yeah. So had another question. Do you think we should hold on to Antonio Gibson? I say yes. He's got the Washington football team has their bye coming up in week 9. So I'm hopeful that maybe they can nurse him through, get him a full recovery. Maybe he sits a game, but he's a guy I think you want to have him in your lineup the second half, after from week 10 on, assuming he gets back healthy. Primo, what do you think?
If you can package him with someone to trade for a running back that's a bell cow, I would do that.
Kind of package him with the receiver.
There's always a guy who will take an injured player for cheap. I'm that guy.
Okay, Bo Pucks, you heard it here. Yeah, look at definitely don't drop him. Running backs are gold right now because guys are he's got a pulse, but you definitely want. It wouldn't be a bad idea to look for a trade, maybe a 2-for-1 trade. Get someone who's a little bit healthier at this point, but definitely look for him to be healthy by week 10 when he's back. So yeah, it is shed splints. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, you're definitely not dropping him. Definitely. No. Yeah, 14 man. Yeah, you're definitely not dropping him. So, oh man, thank you for the preguntas, la dudas. So appreciate that, Bo. Keep them coming. So another one that you mentioned, you're not a big Darnold fan. What about this week?
I like Darnold
at New York Giants.
I just don't think Darnold's the future when compared with Tua or what's his name? Hurts. But I love Darnold. Last week he killed me. That's why I lost in my dynasty league. Against the Giants, I think they're just allowing everyone to throw all over them. So Darnold has to show up for this. He has to show up for this. This game is going to decide whether the Panthers are in the bottom tier or at least the upper half of everybody.
Yeah. Ooh, we got a question. What is CEH and Gibson for JT? Would you do that? I wouldn't even think about it. I know CH is coming back, but I
don't think anyone's going to accept that trade. You're going to offer 2 injured running backs for one of the best ones right now. They're not going to take that because then they're going to take a hit this week and they're not going to have a running back.
Yeah. Oh man. Oh, you trade. Yeah. And my man traded away Sanders. So eso duele. I mean, I'm not a big Sanders fan. So I think he's been better the last couple of weeks. But that team worries me in the second half of the season. So, but CEH, if you could package Gibson and a receiver, so Gibson and a receiver for JT, I think that's a little bit more enticing. So that might get you something. So yeah, gotta love it. Yeah, throw out the options.
Everybody's running back game is weak, man. That's why you need to invest early. But if you did that, you get the crappy wide receivers, not the crappy ones, but the risky ones. Like I have Devontae Smith and Waddle in one league, but I got Eckler, I got James Robinson, and I have Aaron Jones. So you have to really commit to running backs in the beginning if you don't want to be in this position you are right now.
Yeah, but if you, really, I mean, the running backs, yes, you mentioned those plus Derrick Henry. I think those are the only ones that have really avoided injury. So, I mean, everybody else so far, in the second, even the guys in the second round, yeah, it's basically those guys, Henry, Eckler, Robinson, and so many guys, my 14-man PPR, Kyler, Jefferson, Ridley.
Not that bad. A lot of a lot of disappointments on that team, like Ridley, AJ Brown a little bit, Hawkinson, Gibson, CEH. But you drafted well.
That was a good draft. And Kyler is going to give you a shot. I will say you don't want to trade Ridley and AJ Brown because I think you're going to be trading low on them. Hawkinson, because tight ends are so crazy, and people, there's so much hype around them. I think Hawkinson could be a guy that you could get something in there. You just got to make sure you grab up someone that's doable. Ricky Seals-Jones, if you can get him, one of those guys. But I think you could probably do Gibson and Hawkinson for JT. I think if the other manager needs a tight end, that could be sexy. That's the only thing that's going to get you a bell cow running back.
If I was that dude, I would trade Hawkinson to try to get a better tight end. And I would keep Gibson, keep CEH, because in 3 weeks, if they're both healthy and playing, you're set, especially in a 14-man league.
What are you going to put with Hawkinson?
I'd put Hawkinson. I'd find the guy who has Carson or Montgomery, and I'd offer them the backup and Hawkinson for their tight end if they have a really good tight end.
That's interesting. Yeah, I think Hawk and Gibson to upgrade it. Yeah, then you just then you go stream a tight end.
Don't get Gibson for that.
Nah, well, to upgrade at RB. If you could get a good RB.
I feel like you're not going to get a good RB with that.
You don't think that's enough?
No, that's not enough. Hawkinson's not that great.
Yeah, he's what is he?
He's like, here's tier 1, and he's tier
tight
2,
end 6 right now. Down there. Tight end 6 right now. He's 12.9 fantasy points per game. Yeah, that's.
And he's going to trend down. He hasn't been doing that great lately.
Yeah, he's been battling a knee injury that's throwing him off.
And he's still playing. That's the problem. He's playing with the injury. Therefore, you have to put him in the lineup because he's top whatever. And he's going to hurt you. So you give him one more bad week, he's going to be cheap. You're not going to have that much value in him.
Ooh, and they got the Rams this week, so it's going to be it could be a tough one for him. If he has a big week, I will say
I do love revenge games.
Well, it's a revenge game for Jared Goff, not for.
I know, but that's why he's going to see. Yeah. But Goff is going to suck because he just really sucks that bad.
So Darnold, you like him this week against the Giants?
Darnold, hell yeah, I would definitely get him. And Moore's just been crazy good, so I think they should be able to throw all over them. I don't think they're going to run as much. And it was disappointing to see Hubbard score that touchdown. I was like, Darnold's been their goal line back this whole year. So I think Darnold's going to be good. I would use Darnold in my DFS over pretty much Aaron Rodgers too, because he's going to be cheap.
I'm tempted to play him and DJ Moore together and just kind of see what comes up. I think he's at 6,100 in DraftKings.
I called dibs first though, Georgie.
Bo Pucks, de nada. I'm glad we were able to help you. Hopefully you give us a like and subscribe. We're gonna be here. I'll be doing a DFS show probably by either tomorrow or Saturday, depending on how quickly I can write the script. Derrick Henry, I'm just gonna take a public loss on this one because I already mentioned it. I already did standards. I wrote on a chalkboard 100 times. I will not fade King Henry ever again. So never doing that again. But one running back that I think has a good matchup coming up, Joe Mixon at Baltimore. So he's coming off a week where he had kind of like he had an injury designation with his ankle, 84 rushing yards, 59 receiving yards. The Ravens, he's going to the Ravens. They did shut down the Chargers, but the previous weeks they've been giving up some yardage to the running backs. What do you think about Mixon?
I hate Mixon. He's like, he's going to disappoint you when you want him to do great. And then when you think he's bad and you sit him, he's going to do good. This is one of those games where I would sit him and he's probably going to do good. But
yeah,
he's definitely not on my DFS lineup.
Let's see. Fate Rewind. Would you rather A.J. Brown or Ridley to trade? Are you looking to trade him?
I'd rather own Ridley just because you got garbage time written on that, and I like Ridley's quarterback better than Tannehill during garbage time. But they're both great to have.
Oh, I actually have a dynasty team where those were my first two picks. It was a 20-team dynasty league, and I went super, zero RB. Fate Rewind. If you could hold on to both of them, but honestly, I think you're trading low on both of them if you get
not getting value.
But I think
someone probably offered him a trade like that, and he wants to know, should he keep this one or get the new one? Go with Ridley. You want Ridley.
I think Ridley, he's got a little bit more of a better health, a cleaner health history. A little bit more. I think he's a guy. Yeah, I agree. Ridley's definitely higher on the rest of the season. So if you're going to trade somebody, trade A.J. Brown. Even though I really liked what he did, and I'm recommending him this week. He came up. This is a great matchup. So I will tell you, if you can hold Fate Rewind, if you can hold on to Ridley for this week, he's going to cash out for you. Because you're going to be able to get a better offer for him because he's going into that Kansas City matchup. The Chiefs, gave up big games to Mike Williams and Devonta Smith. Before the Washington football team kind of laid a big caca last week. So, you definitely want to play A.J. Brown. And actually, Calvin Ridley's another one. This is another one. You're going to get great trade bait on both of them because of the fact that Calvin Ridley is going up against the Miami defense that's number 30 against the wide receiver, and they're still injured out there. And you've got a 33% target share. And he in his most recent game, he turned 7 catches into 80 yards. I agree. You know what? He's going to get more volume. He's going to be in a more pass-heavy offense. I think if you're going to trade one of them, you trade A.J. Brown, but you wait this week. After this week, you are not trading low on him. After this week, you're going to be trading for at value to high value on him for the rest of the season. Definitely think definitely on one of those.
I agree. I think you're definitely going to increase value this weekend with them.
So we talked. So Zach Wilson. Let's get into our Afuera section. Zach Wilson, they're at New England this week, and let me show you what he did in week 2, 5 weeks ago. 4 interceptions, 19 to 33 passes complete, 19 completions and 33 attempts, 210 yards, 0 touchdowns. He's going up against Belichick. He's had good games, but I just think, I don't know. No me gusta ese. No me gusta.
You picked a guy that no one should have in ever for your Afuera. He's going to suck.
I actually had to make the decision on him in a Superflex league.
I don't like your next pick. But anyways, back to Zach Wilson. Get New England's defense.
Yeah, definitely get New England's defense. Definitely New England's defense. I like that one. Well, we talked about Khalil Herbert. I think the other thing about Khalil Herbert, I've got him on here. I talked about the rushing yards, how they're the Tampa Bay is really not giving up next to nothing on the ground. The other thing is there's the possibility that Damon Williams comes back from injury this week. From the COVID list. So does that worry you? Does that make you give you some cosa?
A little, but I feel like you want to ride the trend. You're not going to all of a sudden go away from Khalil Herbert after seeing him do so well, because running backs are all about rhythm. So hopefully they can keep it that way. But it's good for them to have Damian Williams so they can throw different looks to Tampa Bay, because Tampa Bay is really good against the run. And we'll see what happens. I mean, I'm going to stick by Cleo Herbert. I just loved what he did last week.
Ooh, Ricky, what would you do this one? Offering Hawkinson and Montgomery for Jacobs and Ridley.
They're not going to get that.
He already has Waller.
I mean, you want Hawkinson and Montgomery. They're not going to take that because Jacobs is better than Montgomery right now because he's not injured. And Ridley is way better than Montgomery or Hawkinson. So that's not a legitimate offer.
Now, what if you put Waller in that deal? Because he mentioned he already has Waller too.
Like Waller, Hawkinson, and Montgomery?
No, Waller and Montgomery for Jacobs and Ridley. The tough part is
that's a legitimate trade, but tight end is such a hard position to get at. I'd rather have Waller so that I have a monopoly on the fact that I have a good tight end. But
so you'd rather have Waller and Montgomery over Jacobs and Ridley,
because at least Montgomery's shown flashes of brilliance and Waller has too. Jacobs has been and Ridley hasn't shown anything yet. So you're taking a big risk that way.
Plus, I think Montgomery's got a look. He's got like a probably a couple more, 2 to 3, maybe 4 more weeks on the injured list. So that might be tougher. Yeah, I think it's going to end up being Waller who's got to be included in the trade instead of Hawkinson.
But I wouldn't want to lose Waller. I feel like tight ends are just so thin. You don't want to get stuck with Hawkinson.
Yeah, that one's a tough one. That one's a tough one. All right, so our last one on the wide receiver tight end side, I got DK Metcalf. Now, again, I'm not saying you're not sitting anybody. If you've got a guy who's got a pulse, you're not sitting DK Metcalf. But I'm worried about him this week because New Orleans defense is going to features Marshawn Lattimore in the backfield, in the defensive backfield. He's the number 3 corner according to Pro Football Focus, and he's got Geno Smith throwing to him. It's just the projection is 5 catches for 66 yards and a touchdown. I don't know if he gets there. I don't think he gets there.
I don't think he's going to get there either. It's going to be rough, and it's just sad because a lot of people have DK as their number 1 wide receiver, and it's just like unless Geno pulls something out of his hat, there's no way. There's just no way it's going to happen. So, I mean, I think Collins will do better than – if Collins plays, will do better than DK in this game just because – I don't know. It's just a rough – it sucks because you want DK to do good. You've been begging him to do well this whole season, and he's just crashing the whole time. And it sucks because it's not him. It's the team. Yeah,
it's the team. The team's not doing it. We got one more question from our amigo Bopucks. His only good players are Andrews and Chubb. Trade if you could get Hawkinson and Tim Patrick, you could trade the 2 of them for Mark Andrews. You do it, and you go away laughing like the Joker, mi amigo. I think you do that because you got Jerry Jeudy set to come back from the IR. So Tim Patrick, his value is going to go down. So Bopucks, make that offer. And if if he accepts, you just say muchas gracias.
If he doesn't have more players, if his team's that bad.
Yeah, hopefully he's in the waiver wire. Ay, Dios mío. Yeah, he has no wide receivers. Oh man. So I think definitely. Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you could get Patrick out of him, you definitely want to do that. I mean, you might even, put Patrick and maybe do, AJ Green as your backup. I would think I would give up
Patrick Green and Hawkinson. I doubt he'll take that though.
Mark
Andrews is golden, and if that guy knows Mark Andrews is golden, he won't get rid of him.
Yeah, but if he needs guys, as his team is cheeks, as he mentioned. Oh man, yeah. Put in the offer. Oh man. Well, Primo, I think we're good to go. We had some Adentro Afuera. Thank you to our friends Bo Pucks and Fate Rewind, our buenos amigos.
Gracias, amigos.
Really appreciate you guys. Hopefully everybody else who's tuned in, please give us a like and subscribe on our YouTube channel. Muchas gracias. Primo, where are they finding you?
At Ricky Torres TV.
Yeah, make sure at Familia FFB on YouTube. Also, make sure you're following us on Apple, Google, Spotify. If you want the audio version of this, please make sure to give us a like and subscribe. Make sure you're following our original content. I'm gonna drop the Adentro Afuera article on Friday, and please make sure you're following me at Jorge Martin 17 right here, right here. Yes, right here, and also our Twitter and Instagram at Familia FFB. Also, don't forget our Facebook page. Otra vez, everybody. Muchas gracias. Have a great week 7. Bye-Mageddon. We are going to survive this. Get your wins, because remember, everybody's got the same problem that you have. And also remember, todos somos familia.
Adios, amigos.
Salud.